So the comment section has solved the small base circle forward dilemma. So hang loose and we're going to get into it. I got some pictures and stuff, and I think it'll be interesting. Stay tuned. All right. So there were, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 really, really good comments in the, in the original video. So apparently where the small base circle comes in, and this totally makes sense. I just have never done it. So I've never seen anybody else do it. But when you take a early non-roller block and try to use the dog bone system, the top of the lifter board is shorter in the early block. This is a non-roller block. So that makes the little dog bone way down further. So, the cam and all's in the same location. So at max lift, it's pushing up on the dog bone. It's probably kind of problematic because it's a casting anyway. And so you got the dog bone just laying on top of a casting that's not even or straight. So that's why I would never do it anyway. I just put retro lifters in it and call it a day. But I know that lately, and I don't know why I didn't think about it, because we've had several people order Cleveland cams and they're using the small block dog bone system in a Cleveland. I think even there's some people that sell a kit or something. So I don't know why I didn't think about that, but retro lifters are not crazy money, and it's just I don't know. But it totally makes sense in that scenario. The problem is, for sure, the cam company that sold this guy this cam right here. This cam is for a OEM roller block. So they sold him a small base circle cam for an OEM roller block, and that's absolutely just not needed. So you're increasing the pressure angle, you're limiting uh, acceleration. There's just a lot of negatives to using a small base circle when you don't have to. So I would never ever use a small base circle. Um, I mean, they'd have to be some kind of real reason. A small block Chevrolet with, a rod clearance issue. But Fords don't have the rod. I've seen that in a bunch in the comments. Rod clearance. It's not a rod clearance issue. Small block Fords don't have a rod clearance issue. Small block Chevrolets do, however. But I got some pictures here that will kind of drive home the deal. Let me get them pulled up here. All right, so this first picture is just a factory OEM block. I'm going to zoom in here. So you can see right here, this is on the base circle. And I don't know that this engine has the factory cam in it. And I've got a roller block here, but I don't have the dog bones and the spider because I was going to do some checking. Because I've got some Ford cams here in stock, and I could have just slid a cam in there and rolled it over and see where it landed. The problem, and you'll see it in a minute, the problem with the way Ford made their dog bones is under the bottom of this, it looks like it's flat well, it is flat on the top, but under the bottom, it's not flat. It's actually cut out. So you got to be careful. I mean, this is about as far down as you want to go. If you get much further down than this, you're going to have problems. So let's look at some problems. So this block right here, and this is, I believe that this is a aftermarket block, probably like a Dart SHP. But if you can see these, you can see how the dog bones cut from this side view. These lifters are just about to come out of that dog bone. And so that's going to be if that dog bone moves around, that lifter is coming loose. Here is another example of some that are coming loose already. So if you see, now this is a perfect side view, and this is obviously the base circle is too small on this cam, and you can see that we not grabbing that lifter. And then here is another view of the same deal, and you can see this cutout in here. So that, I mean, that's just not going to work, right? So this system right here needed a full base circle to make this work. It would have worked fine, but it needs a full base circle. As far as I know, this pad is at the right height of a factory because Dart says you can use the OEM stuff. So if this is a Dart block, but again, this is the problem. This is what can happen with a small base circle that's too small. So, just keep that in mind, that the only reason that I can see that you would ever use a small base circle is like what several people said in the comments, trying to retrofit a early block with the factory style system. So, but again, that's super good information, because now when you order a cam from whoever, it doesn't matter who you order it from, this will allow you to have the knowledge to say, when they try to sell you a small base circle, say that's not required. Now, I did see several people say that retrofit style lifters, and again, I've been through this, retro lifters and factory drop-in lifters from the bottom of the wheel to the oil band is in the exact same place. Some people in the comments said that they give an example, one or two people give an example of the factory roller would work, and the factory roller would work, and the retrofit style, the oil band lifted out of the lifter board, which is absolute nonsense. Like I say, we've checked multiple brands, and all of them are in the exact same place. And again, the top of the lobe, whether you got 300 lobe lift or 400 lobe lift, is in the same place, relative. So there is a possibility, for whatever reason, that the lifter could come up high enough to leak into oil band out of the top of the lifter board. But if it did it with a high lift cam, it'll do it with the factory cam too. So it's just a machining issue. We have seen a couple of times, we've seen small block Chevrolets, those early transition to one piece rear main seals, where and I don't know why they done that, but it looks like from the factory, they went in, they bored the lifter hole, and then they come back and put a counter bore in it. So then, but it was a flat tappet deal, because all the trucks were flat tappets. And so a guy sent me a bunch of pictures, and he's like, man, what do I do? He had roller lifters in, and, at peak lift, the band wasn't out of the lifter bore, but it was in the counter bore. So it was just puking oil. And I'm like, man, there ain't no solution to that other than bush the lifter bores or put a small base circle cam in it. That's the only way that you're going to make that block work. And I have seen some blocks that way. I haven't seen one as bad as this guy's, but I've seen some that way that had that extra counter bore. And I mean, like, why would they do that? It doesn't. And the thing, and you would think, like, right, this stuff's coming out of the assembly line. Why would you just see a handful like that and not all like that? It's really weird. I don't know if they had some tooling issues or something. And I mean, I guess it's possible that, because, like in the CNC stuff, we have special drills made that's a drill, and then it's got another insert up here that when you get to depth, it chamfers that hole all in one shot. So you just drill, go to depth, come out, the whole chamfered, the whole deal. And then I'm assuming they're using some kind of reaming, honing to finish that bore. I'm sure some kind of reaming. They probably not honing. So once the hole's drilled and chamfered, then they just run a reamer through it and it's done. So it's possible that they just had a tool depth issue on from time to time, whatever. But I've seen blocks that way. Some worse than others, but the guy sent me pictures. That's the worst one I've ever seen. It looked like that counter bore was, man. It looked like it was like 1/8 deep, maybe 3/16 deep. It was way down to the lifter bore. So anyway, but again, that's great information, and I really appreciate the comment section. Getting this unpacked, because again, it just helps everybody. And like I say, I just have never seen a reason for a small base circle. And again, I've just never tried to put factory dog bones on non-roller block because, like I say, the top of the lifter bore is not machined, and it's just probably not a really good idea. But if you're trying to get out cheap and whatever, then I guess it's an option. But again, there it is. Now we know. We can put that to bed, and now you have more information in your toolbox for when you buy stuff. You know what you're buying, and you get what you need and what you don't need. So hopefully that helped. I appreciate y'all so much. See you on the next one.